any time and sign up to volunteer. So right now, I'm going to bring up our second speaker, everybody's favorite, Chris Sky. Woo!
Hey everybody!
Hey!
How's everybody doing today? Got a lot to talk about. Some things are going to make you happy. Some things are going to make you angry. Some things might make you a little sad. So we're going to go with a whole bunch of things. Let's start. So a man messaged me yesterday. I just want to talk about his little initiative quickly. He wanted to bring awareness to suicide prevention. His mother took his own life just 3 days after his birthday, and her birthday happens to be next Sunday on the 21st. And he was planning on coming downtown Toronto to around the Tent City area, grab a whole bunch of food, and go out to hand it out to the less fortunate to help raise awareness. And I told him I'd be interested in helping. So if anybody wants to volunteer and help out on that initiative that's going to be happening next Sunday, they can contact me directly, and we'll go about that. So, the government has been doing a lot of lying. We know this. The lies are getting more desperate to the point where we talked about the secret vote to make sure they didn't have transparency so they wouldn't tell us why they're extending our lockdown. It went even a step further. When Doug Ford was posed, who are these so-called experts that are giving us the so-called data that we're not allowed to see? His response was, I'm sorry, I can't tell you who the experts are.
George Soros.
So we have experts telling us data, experts we're not allowed to know of, telling us data we're not allowed to see. So we don't have the reason that we need to be stayed locked down, but they're assuring us that lockdown is the only way to go.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you know our Deputy PM, Chrystia Freeland. She's a well-known author. She was in CTV News yesterday, and she let the cat out of the bag by accident. She admitted their reopening strategy for the GTA is going to take up to 8 months.
Oh my God. It's true.
That was published June 3rd, by the way. That takes us into 2021. Now, let's look at this logically. Our PM is a fired substitute drama teacher. Our deputy PM is an author. They're listening to unknown, unnamed health experts, and these people that have absolutely no economic training, no medical training, not even considering any other factors, are making a one-size-fits-all strategy for our city, telling us what's best for our own economic decisions for our family.
Malpractice.
Now, you could think of it as malpractice. You could think of it's definitely treason, but definitely. But a lot of people want to put it out to incompetence because it's a lot easier to forgive someone for being incompetent than it is to admit they know exactly what they're doing. But I can prove it to you. This is one of those things I'm going to tell you that I said was going to make you angry. So our author, Deputy PM, just wrote a biography for a very famous, well-known person who's getting a lot of attention lately. Not quite, but even worse in my opinion. This man has paid our Deputy PM personally and handsomely to write this biography of him. Maybe you heard of him. His name is George Soros. So let's say that again. Our Deputy PM is being paid bribes, paychecks directly from George Soros. If that wasn't bad enough, if you still doubt that their plan is to attack small business, destroy it, get rid of it, and prop up the large business to create a class of super wealthy and a class of government dependent and eliminate the remainder of the middle class, all I have to tell you is, what is the name of Chrystia Freeland's latest book? Does anybody know? Am I the only person that knows this kind of weird stuff?
My hero, George Soros.
It's called Plutocrats.
Oh my God.
The Rise of the World's Super Rich and the Fall of Everybody Else. This is the woman that's enforcing the policies that are destroying our small business and making companies like Amazon and Walmart exponentially and record-breakingly more wealthy, telling you that you're going to be a criminal if you try to feed your family, telling you that they're going to take the next 8 months to let you go back to work, and then telling you that she wants you to buy her book called Plutocrats, The Rise of the World's Super Rich and the Fall of Everybody Else. This is our government, people. This is what we're facing. So, why are they getting so desperate with all the lies and all basically just denying us any access to any information that could prove what they're doing?
They shot themselves in their foot.
Well, they know they're going down, yes, but what are they trying to do? What is their number one weapon right now, besides the fear?
Media.
Media is their tool, but what is their weapon? Their weapon is division. From the onset, they have divided us into as smaller and smaller groups as physically possible. It started with dividing the people who are afraid of the virus with the people who are not afraid of the virus.
Exactly.
That was a big divide right there. They continued that division with the people getting CRV payments and the small business owners or other people that are still working. Now they continued that divide. They tried everything they could to create the racial tension and racial riots that they got in the United States of America. But thankfully, we're in Canada. We're in the most diverse, welcoming, inclusive nation in the world. And their plans fell flat on their face. The media was so desperate last week after our march when the so-called anti-racism protesters showed up. I went to greet them because I could tell they were afraid. They were literally afraid of us. So I went over by myself, and these kids, they must have been kids, no older than 17, 18 years old. And I walked over and I said, why are you guys way over here? Like, we just finished our march, we're having a good mood, everyone's still having a good time. Why don't you come over there? Like, they were shaking their head. They're literally terrified of it. What are you scared of? What did somebody tell you? They're like, well, we heard by the media that this is a KKK rally. That's what they said to us. I looked at her in the eyes. I said, yes, apparently we're all white supremacists. We're all racists and all the rest of it. But I looked at her and I said, do I look like I'm someone you should be scared of, or do I look like I'm inviting you over there to be with the rest of us? And at that point, she shook my hand and she smiled. She didn't take off her mask, though, unfortunately. Baby steps, baby steps. But they did come over. And guess what the mainstream media, who only showed up after they showed up, did? When we were all mingling together, we wanted the media to show how everybody was included, united, the solidarity, the positivity. The media was having none of it. They literally got their camera crews and started trying to literally divide our groups on one side and the other so they could start filming and get their shot of two so-called opposing groups on one side or the other. But our people were having none of it. We were videotaping them. We showed each other. These videos are all online. And you could see the mainstream media getting very frustrated because we were preventing them from creating their narrative. So they just went and called us racists again. No big deal.
We're online, we're online.
We're all online. Everybody's online, and we hope that we're all
What
online.
websites?
What do you mean? Yeah, why are you wearing a mask at the front of our thing? Hugs over masks. Didn't you get the memo? Come on. Which websites? What do you mean? Our website is fearlessontario.ca. My nonprofit is backtowork.bz. And I'm going to talk about getting people back to work right now, as a matter of fact. That's why I'm really here. The most pressing issue. So we know their weapon is division. Sorry for the distraction, but it was obviously on purpose. We know their weapon is division. We know the way around their weapon is unity, solidarity, community outreach. Once we all come together, we can be non-compliant together. When we're non-compliant together, we get our way, they don't get their way. The most pressing issue, there's a lot of issues right now, but the most pressing issue is getting people back to work. Why? 97% of our businesses are small businesses. 70% of our jobs are created by small business. Millions, tens of millions of people rely on small business. Our economy relies on small business. Our way of life revolves around the success of small business. So if we do not come together as a community and save our small businesses, the rest of our country will collapse just as bad. So, thankfully, Back to Work got launched. We already have over $5,000 in the legal fund and it's growing every day. Businesses are being added every day. They contact me. I've had people contact me that never showed up at this protest, didn't have any idea who I am, just by word of mouth. I want to tell you about one family I went to visit and something that could help a lot of the people here that we helped find in businesses leasing contracts that a lot of people don't know about, but it applies to about 1/4 of all contracts. So I got a call. I got an email. It was from a woman. She had a business. It was a clinic of some type. I don't want to give too much information. So as soon as somebody signs up on my site, a business owner, I get an email notification with their contact, and I immediately contact them, and we make a meeting where I can come to their business, and we can go through their lease agreement and see if there's any way I can help them there. And then we go through their business, and using the new guidelines, I come up with an adaptive business model that'll help them generate revenue, even if they can't officially open, just to keep them afloat. So this family called me, and I went there. Sure enough, I saw a beautiful wife, husband, and 2 amazing little girls. They were like, literally like they came out of a movie. They were just absolutely adorable. And they told me, I told them, you got to look at your lease. There's a clause in 1 out of 4 leases that if you have a government closure on your business, your landlord cannot force you to pay rent. It's humongous. Not only will that just save you the amount of money for all this time, number one. Number two, it can give you the leverage to renegotiate an entirely new lease from scratch with cheaper payments, deferred payments, whatever works for you. The point is, it can put you in the driver's seat, and it's something anybody can look at their lease, costs absolutely no money, and it'll affect at least 1 out of 4 businesses in this country, and it can save those businesses. First of all, that worked for them. As soon as they saw that, they started tearing up, and they told me that they'd already lost their house. And they were literally about a week away from losing their business, and really didn't know what they were going to do. So we went through their business. I gave them a way that they could start generating revenue again. They got the confidence they needed, the courage they needed to stand up to the government, and more importantly, they got the means to save their family, save their business, and hopefully get their house back. This is what Back to Work is all about. This is what we're trying to do on a grand scale for everybody. Everybody needs to look out for everybody else. The landlords need to take care of the business owners. The essential businesses need to take care of the non-essential businesses. All of us need to do our part. I donated those waters from Back to Work just for everybody, and we don't want anything, but we do appreciate donations at backtowork.bz for the cause, one way or the other. We accomplished a lot in the last week when we started Fearless Ontario, and we got Randy to come speak for us. He's been a real thorn in their side. He's the one that started that petition, and that petition is great. It's getting not just national attention. We got an official endorsement from Dr. Penny, and she's internationally renowned. And so when you have international doctors that aren't on the government payroll telling you the truth, it's a lot more credible than unnamed doctors giving you unnamed data, telling you how you have to live your life. Another important development that I have to mention. I mentioned a long time ago that we were pursuing a lawsuit against the government with Rocco Galati. He is an absolute legend. He is a warrior, and he is coming for them. Ideally, it should be filed by next Tuesday. If you're wondering why it's taken this long, it's pretty easy to explain. Our government is so corrupt, and everything they're doing is so blatantly illegal, that our lawsuit submission is already at 83 pages long and counting. 83 pages to try to explain all the illegal stuff they're doing and all the ways they're trying to subjugate us. Well, it's going to get filed next week. The pressure's going to be on. This is going to keep growing. We're getting new privileges. Next week, we're going to try to bring food here. We're going to sell donating tickets to help generate revenue for all the causes going around. We need everybody to do their part. We need everybody to sign that petition. We need everybody to go to fearlessontario.ca and sign up. We need everybody to go to backtowork.bz, make a small donation, show your business friends. It's spreading by word of mouth. Every business I help tells another business, tells another business, tells another business. And it's going great. I tried to warn you guys about this whole regional opening thing, and I told you they're going to use it as a way to stall. They try to show you this map that shows all of Ontario, and it looks like the whole of Ontario is open except this little tiny portion that we call the GTA. Reality is, the GTA is almost 70% of all the businesses in Ontario. So even if they open the rest of Ontario, all the businesses, at 50% capacity, that's only 15% of the economy open. And they're trying to tell you guys that they're opening things. Reality is, they just released a report today saying the medical officials, that we're not allowed to know who they are telling everybody that places like salons and small clinics are not going to be open in the GTA until at least the end of summer.
So what kind of deficit are we going to incur with all this?
Oh, deficit? I'm not a mathematician, but I can tell you it's going to be at least $300 billion this year. And already our GDP has shrunk by close to 10%, and it's falling more every day, and with no prospect of replacing these jobs. That's what you guys have to realize. When these businesses are gone, there's nothing to replace them. When these restaurants are gone, they're not coming back. These are restaurants. Some of these restaurants have been here since the 50s, the 60s, places we grew up with. These are places that have supported not just one family, but generations of the same family. And now these people are out on the street, literally. And the government doesn't care. The government thinks of you as collateral damage. They have all these wonderful sounding terms that just take the feeling out of everything. You're just statistics. But like I said, we're making headway. Every week, we're making things happen. Every week, Doug Ford's approval drops. Every week, more businesses are signing up to Back to Work. Every week, we're getting more coverage.
Drink that. Keep the LCB open, John.
The LCBO is going to be open without Doug Ford. There's plenty of people lining up over there. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. We're going to do our march today. And my wonderful wife is handing out our Back to Work sheets for anybody that needs instructions on how to join Back to Work. See my beautiful wife. She'll be handing them out to everybody. Thank you guys.